Hi, welcome to The Inner Way. I'm your host, Father David Smith. We're going to continue our study of unseen warfare, the great spiritual classic. Here it is. We'll continue this today. We're going into chapter 1 of part 1 of the book. I hope that you have gained spiritual benefits from unseen warfare as much as I have in my own life. Today we're looking at chapter 21 is about, in fact, the title, I can give you the title, on the control and right use of the outer senses. On the control and right use of the outer senses. Now, we've heard some advice from unseen warfare about controlling the senses before, about, looking to what it is that is leading us to temptation and simply cutting ourselves off from it. This chapter is similar, but it has a little bit of a different piece of advice that I really think is beneficial for us. It's a long chapter, but it has, I'll just focus in on the part that deals with practical advice. That's the kind of advice I like, spiritually speaking. I hope you do too. This is what it says. You too can do it in the following way, that is, gain control of your outer senses. When to your outer senses there is presented some physical object which they either see or hear or smell or taste or touch, separate in your mind what is sensory and material in the object from that part which comes from the creative divine spirit. Think how impossible it is for its being and all it contains to come from itself, but that all in it is the work of God, whose invisible power gives it its being, its good qualities, beauty, and wise structure, this power to act on others and this capacity to receive influences from them and everything good there is in it. So what this is talking about is to, it isn't simply saying stay away from things. Remember the chapter before I talked about it. It said stay away from music that makes you sin, or stay away from dances. So it's one of those passages that tells us that this isn't only written for monastics. This says something a little bit different. You are to look at the thing and see that creative power of God in it. So you're not simply saying, if there's something in front of me that's leading me to temptation, I'm going to turn away from it. But it's a different level of looking at temptations in terms of saying, this is something given to me by God. Now, I've often used my struggles with eating as an example during these videos, and I can continue to do that. So I sit down in front of a meal, and say it's, you go to these restaurants sometimes where they give you just way too much food. And I'm not a person who's inclined to take home a little bag of the food that I just paid for at the restaurant. I don't really like doing that. I'm going to eat what I'm going to eat, and I'm going to leave behind what I didn't eat. But they give you way too much food. You're sitting there and you're looking at the food, and rather than saying, I'm not going to eat, I'm going to get up and walk away, or I'm going to take half the food and push it off my plate onto the floor and stomp on it, and then I'm going to, be a holier person, be closer to God. This chapter is saying you look at it and you thank God for it. And what does that do? Does that make it so that big old steak there in front of you suddenly, becomes smaller, or you suddenly gain the ability to say, well, I'm not going to eat all of that because I have the willpower, or anything like that? No, it's not like that. But rather you are establishing at that moment a connection with God. You thank God for that food. And I'm not just talking about saying grace. Good food, good meat, good God, let's eat, and all of that. And then you start eating. No. A genuine thanking of God, seeing how God has made each part of this, and brought you into a world where it is possible to prepare it in that way, given you a life where you are able to sit at the table and partake of this food. You thank God for those things, for His creative power and His mercy on us, His gifts that He gives us. And what that does is it draws the connection that enables you, or in the past has enabled me, to eat reasonably. You say, I am aware of God all the time that I'm eating. And so overeating is not an option. I can eat and until I know that I've had enough, and then I stop. And I stop because I have God in me, and I have that connection open, and it gives me what I need. Sometimes I have the same thing in terms of people that I don't like, people that persecute me, that annoy me, that are difficult to be around. And when I'm around those people, if I say to myself, thank God, God created this person. God gave this person life and put this person in my life in order to lead me to Himself. And thank you, God, for that. And once I say those kinds of things, then no matter what happens, I can always look on that person with love and thanksgiving, even for anything that happens. Now, that paragraph continues. Then transfer such thoughts to all other visible things, and rejoice in your heart that the one God is the origin and cause of such varied, such great and marvelous perfections manifested in His creatures, that He contains in Himself all possible perfections, and that these perfections, seen in His creatures, are no other than a weak reflection and shadow of the boundless perfections of God. So this even takes it a step further, that not only am I looking at that food and saying, thank you, God, for this, for the creation of food, of taste, of eating, of cooking, of this place where I am, of the people I'm with. Thank you, God, for these things. But you begin to expand that out. thank you for this day. Thank you for my life. Thank you for, the person waiting on me if it's a restaurant. Thank you for my vision, my taste. Thank you, thank you. Everything becomes an expression of thanksgiving, an expression of love. And you begin to learn how to love the things that God has given us, the world that God has given us. Sometimes they are temptations, and the connection with God gives you the ability to avoid those temptations. You see something on television, and you thank God for who you are, you thank God for the people on the television, you thank God for your home or whatever the case may be, and that connection leads you to say, you know what, I'm not going to watch this. This is not something I should be watching, or it's not going to benefit me to watch it. The entertainment value supersedes the thankfulness I have in my life for everything around me. Sometimes you do say that, but other times it's a matter of saying it just fills you with a gratitude for all that God has given, the temptations as well as the blessings. This is not simply a matter of trying to summon up emotions of joy and love and exuberance. That's not what this is. It's not an emotion-connected activity. It is a God-connected activity. It isn't summoning up excitement about the created things of this world. It is looking to the Creator, thanking the Creator, loving the Creator, and thereby knowing that in all of this created world around me, I can get something of a reflection of the glory and the mercy and the blessings that come from God. Well, next week we're going to continue our look into unseen warfare, a chapter that I know that you will love. I hope you can join us, and until then, God bless you, and I'll see you in church.